Okay, we need to have a conversation. Apparently, Doug Bowser defends the $70 Zelda pricing. What the hell? I fucking see it. Alright. If you guys haven't known, God fucking damn it. If you guys aren't aware, the pricing of video game has been slowly video game. If you guys haven't been aware, the pricing of video games has slowly been rising over time. Back in the day, Game Boy games used to cost $20, $30, or $40. Oh my fucking god, speak! I don't have a script! This is all improv! This is all... For those who haven't been aware, the pricing of video games has been increasing over time. Back in the day, Game Boy games used to cost either $20, $30, or $40 depending on the title. 3DS games used to cost $49.99 or $39.99. Various GameCube games were $59.99 or less. Hell, Breath of the Wild is $59.99. But depending on the day you get it, it could drop as low as $40. And this game was $40 or less depending on the time frames or everything. But no. Now games are rising to be $70. That's ridiculous. And is this $70 price range justified? So I was doing a little digging around, and why are games going up to be $70 now? It's a hard stretch to pay $60 for a game, but now $70? I just don't understand why we would be doing this. I hope video games go down in sales so that companies realize that maybe $70 is too much. Upping price tags to $70 is Van Drunen, whatever his fucking name is. My apologies for butchering it. Upping the price tag to $70 is largely moved by platforms and publishers to capture more market value. In other words, companies can charge $70 now because they know people will pay for it. And how does that make you feel? Honestly, I'm afraid to ask that question because I know the majority of you guys like to pirate your games to begin with. And the people that I know that do collect physical copies are just very die-hard Nintendo fans or collectors. It's just nuts because paying $70 for a game is... You're basically a game tester at that point, because later on in the year after they tease out DLC and bug fixes, they're going to release a definitive edition that's normally $10 to $20 cheaper anyway. And people would have thought with digital games being the bigger share of sales over the years that maybe the prices of physical copies would be cut down, but no, they still remain $60. Now, do you believe that game devs could be greedy, or are there AAA companies entitled to the $70 price? I just don't understand. I know that we're living in a world with increasing inflation, and because of that, making games is going to be more expensive. But to be fair, the quality and cost associated with creating video games has risen exponentially in recent years. Even though while they used to hold a firm 40 to 60 for the past 15 to 20 years. I just think that $70 is too much, but I understand it's a business and not a charity, but come on. I know that video games are a luxury, but $70? Who want... Nintendo knows we love The Legend of Zelda. They know they're gonna buy Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but we're taking full advantage of by increasing it by 10 price. We're so foolish that we bought fucking Triforce Heroes at full price. What's wrong with us? This is nuts. Now, where do I stand with all this? I believe video games should be $50 or less. That's why I go to Walmart to buy my video games most of the time, because sometimes Walmart sells mainline titles $10 cheaper. And thank God I work at GameStop, because at GameStop I get my employees discount, and games are normally on sale all the time there anyway, and then you get your $5 off every month for being a Power Up Rewards member. There's just ways to cheat the system with stores because people don't want to pay full price for the game to begin with. People are just going to wait for the pre-owned copy anyway. But I'm a content creator and want to buy the game day one and stream it, and then I'm just taking full advantage of and burning holes in my wallet. I don't know. It's messed up. How do you guys feel about the $70 price tag? It's this next generation of consoles, man. They keep upgrading the hardware, the capabilities of it, but at what cost, though, when we're getting incomplete games most of the time at the end of the day? I don't know. So, our good boy Doug Bowser at Nintendo, he's the head of Nintendo USA, FYI, has recently defended the price point of Breath of the Wild follow up in an interview with AP News, in which he reaffirmed the company's stance that is not Nintendo's standard pricing going forward, and all games would be judged on an individual basis. So essentially at the Nintendo corporate table, they're like, what are our top selling franchises? And how much money could we suck out of them? In the future, I see Pokemon, Mario, Nintendo, Animal Crossing being $10 more Fire Emblem because of their popularity. While in the future, Pikmin, Metroid, Star Fox, you're going to be in the lower end of pricing. But eventually, when they become popular titles, they're probably going to be like, yep, let's suck them dry. Let's Tom Nook those bitches and get more money out of them. But here's their thought process at Nintendo. Talking specifically about Tears of the Kingdom, Bowser seems certain that the game would be worthy of such a price point. We look at what the game has to offer. I think fans will find this is incredibly full, deeply immersive experience. The price point reflects the type of experience that fans can expect when it comes to playing this particular game. Well, what the fuck about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Or in this case, Super Mario Strikers! Hold on, here's proof of how shit this game is. A bare bones game with full of fucking glitches. And this is my own experience where the final Smash thing didn't even work. I don't even know what it's called because the game was so terrible to play. The tutorial was so long. It had no content. I don't even care what I just did was. I never played the game since this day. But I know for a fact I paid $60 for it. This isn't a price point that we'll necessarily have on all our titles. It's actually a fairly common pricing model, either here or in Europe or other parts of the world, where the pricing may vary depending on the game itself. If there's anything that I'm taking from his statement, is that he 100% fully believes that Breath of the Wild 2 came from God's ass, and it's gonna be the next hottest thing since sliced bread. And maybe if we're just lucky, during the Christmas time of 2025, the game might drop down to $60 like it's the one before. I know this isn't a surprise to people that he's defending it, but like, Jesus Christ. Oh man. Well, considering that all you guys who clicked on the video must be diehard Zelda fans anyway, I'm assuming $70 price range isn't going to be too out of reach for you, and you'll be getting it anyway. I just hope that it really does live up to the $70 price tag at the very least, and I'm just going to manifest. Maybe we could all collectively manifest that physical game copies pricing does get cut in half, and that maybe game developers give us fully fleshed out, polished games before asking such a price from us, because I could barely afford gas and food sometimes. But you know what? That's my little talk for today. You get more out of a $40 3DS title from 2015 that no one likes than you get in modern day Switch and PlayStation and Xbox games. Just look. Now, fans are asking, how did you get $70 price figure for the upcoming Zelda game? Doug Bowser replies with, we look at what the game has to offer. I think fans will find this an incredibly full, deeply immersive experience. The price point reflects the type of experience that fans can expect when it comes to playing this particular game. This isn't a price point that we'll necessarily have on all our titles, because they know for a fact they aren't going to squeeze $70 out of us on the new Legend of Starfy game. It's actually a fairly common pricing model, either here or in Europe or other parts of the world, where the pricing may vary depending on the game itself. Well, here's the argument. I think, and I don't know personally, but money works different in other parts of the world. Our daily wages are different than their daily wages, and even though their price tags look larger than ours, it's still the same, I feel like, when with work ethic or something. So, I don't know. And he's basically saying, if other people could charge $70 for games, we haven't been doing it, so we can too. What the hell, Nintendo? You're better than that. Any sales goals for the new Zelda? There are, but they're not publicly disclosed yet. Yeah, they're expecting billions of dollars from this game. That's an exaggeration. But that's why they're inching the price up that high. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if they probably would sell the game for $80, $90, or $100 because they know it's going to sell 1 million. That would be $100 million in their pocket right off the bat. And my number one question is, what are they doing with the money with their increased sale price? Because they're most definitely not making other games worth their price title. And I hope after this Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 Tears of the Kingdom success, they start putting more love, care, and polish into their games, because fans could tell, we could tell when it's a game, when it's a good game. There's $10 indie games out there with hundreds of dollars worth of content in it, but they're charging like $10. I find this incredibly frustrating. Like, now I'm expecting any game that's $70 to be worth $70. After a claim like that, Doug Bowser, or just in general, us as the consumers should have that expectation that we're getting what we paid for in that game. So, I don't know, I just find it counterintuitive at the same time. Like, oh, if it's a $70 game, we'll make sure they get what they paid for. But anything below $70 is fuck all. No, we as the fans should speak up and do something about it moving forward. Okay, we'll excuse all of Nintendo's past actions, but if they're claiming now that we're going to get what we paid for when it comes to games, we need to stand up for ourselves and say something more, because I'm really expecting Breath of the Wild 2 to be huge. And any other game that comes out after that. Like,
the third thing is that Nintendo is gonna Nintendo.
Nintendo always Nintendos.
Has to be one of the most hard-headed companies,
the hardest of
in the
heads.
entire world, because what you want them to necessarily do isn't what they're necessarily going to
Exactly.
do. If anything, they might do the complete opposite.
That's why we need to speak up for ourselves. Thank you, RGT85. Now, watch Tears of the Kingdom just be a glorified DLC. A $70 glorified DLC. The joke would be on us Nintendo fans, am I right? That better not be the case. Also, why isn't Tears of the Kingdom gonna be at PAX East this year? Obviously, Nintendo's not ashamed of their games. It would get people to come, more people to come to PAX East. Hell, if Nintendo just changes their mind and says Breath of the Wild demo's gonna be at E3. Oh wait, it's coming out before E3. Never mind, but what I'm trying to say is, provide demo, the fans are gonna all the way there. If the $70 price point was as common as companies want it to be, and we were getting our $70 worth of gameplay content, I don't think that people would be outraged or think of this as an issue. But the $70 price range and their statement is also speaking volumes for other things, like all their other games were half-assed before. Even though one of my favorite games in the whole world, 51 Clubhouse Games, watch my live streams on that. It's incredible. Was way cheaper than anything that's probably going to release in the future. I just pray if you don't run at 1080p 60 frames per second, I'm literally just gonna pray to fucking God that when I'm 30, video games aren't teasing up, inching, fucking erecting to the $100 line, because I'm just gonna fucking become a... I'm just gonna be really sad. Let me do it for you, Nintendo. Kermit. You know what they could always do? Run a performance update. Because guess what? Breath of the Wild needed to have a performance update because it was running better docked than in handheld. But wanna know what didn't get a performance update? Fucking Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because Nintendo, again, is doing this so late in its cycle because they were like, I smell money! Let's get the money! What is the definition of immersive? It's an adjective, meaning providing, involving, or characterized by deep absorption in something, as in an activity, or a real, or artificial environment. Or, in Nintendo's case, $70! I want this $70 new definition of Nintendo's immersive to be enveloping, hypnotic, mesmerizing, riveting, alluring, captivating, enchanting, enticing, entrancing, fascinating, inviting. But no, Nintendo's like, immersive means $70. I just want to make it clear before I get attacked, because you know you gotta cover all the bases online before the attack you. I do respect the expensive and longer development cycles some of the companies go through, but I have more respect towards indie companies. Let's be real.
Why, I do understand that developing and publishing video games is a very expensive process, but it's just hard to stomach these prices increasing when games seem to be filled more than ever with fucking microtransactions and other ways to fucking suck our goddamn dicks!
Anyways, if you guys want to see me fucking bitch and rant about microtransactions, let's get this video to 100 likes because I feel like we could push that. So I had some of the people in my community reply to how they feel about paying $70 for a video game. Let's see what they have to say. And if you would like to be featured in a video, just be on the lookout for my posts asking questions, because I'm 100% more than likely to take your comment and put it in a video. So follow me on Twitter, Discord, and watch out for the YouTube community tags. How do you guys feel about $70 video games? I remember when video games were a big thing to wait in line to buy a physical copy, and now everyone buys it online. It's just crazy to me how quickly technology has changed, and I don't know how long physical copies can last anymore. Also, inflation affects prices. Man, waiting in line was such a magical time for video games. Hence why I love the C&D era so much, why going to GameStop at midnight for Pokemon and big Nintendo releases, even Call of Duty at that point, were just a magical period in all our lives, and they just seem to be drifting away with the convenience of online and technology, and it's just ruining. I don't know if it's just ruining the magic of life more for certain people, like too conveniency. What I'm trying to say is comfort kills, and it's showing. It's showing in the gaming communities. Here in Canada, if you can translate that 70 USD to CAD, that would be roughly 90 to 95 bucks, which would already be 1/4 of the price of a full Switch game, which is fucking insane, I know. Plus 3 games would be worth more than a Switch Lite, which is kind of stupid. Okay, so this clears up what I was trying to say earlier. But yeah, no, it's absolutely disgusting. God damn it. My Canadian friends have it rough. I'll spend the money for a game I know will be great, like the new Zelda. Would never pay that for a game that I've never played before. You know, that's 100% valid, Joe. I do see the die-hard Breath of the Wild and Zelda fans and Pokemon fans paying those prices because they want the experience and know it will be good, but I don't see you paying $70 for the next Mario sports game or Star Fox game anytime soon, unless it was like came from God's ass, like I said earlier in the video. Deerso says, I despise the increase in games. I can't justify $50 for most games, let alone 60. Now 70? I've heard that companies will turn in a bigger profit and in turn make higher quality games. But when do they do that? They don't. They don't do that. But name more than 10 games that were $70 that weren't a glitch fest. I literally can't. I legit can't. And that's goddamn sad. If you guys can in the comments down below, fuck you. Depends on how badly I want it. Of course I don't like spending more money than I have to, but I'm gonna still get Tears of the Kingdom. Again, if what they're claiming about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is true, okay, be my guest, but I don't see you guys spending that much money on Star Fox or Kirby or goddamn Captain Falcon. I don't know. This is why I pirate games. I don't know any good pirate games. Shantae, Risky's Revenge, you know? But seriously, this is why people pirate games. Video games are too expensive. Seko needs money. Seko don't have job. That he pirate game. It doesn't help that they're getting more expensive. 70 is way too much when I could get Stardew Valley for 15, which is a game I hold in high regard than Pokemon Sword and Shield, which was 60. But Pokemon Sword was still fun, of course. You're getting more in Stardew Valley than any Animal Crossing game, or Pokemon game, or Fantasy Life, or Harvest Moon. Need more $20 games. 100% agreed. That's why I love indies and indies. Too much! I want free! Nintendo, release more free playable demos. More. And let us transfer our progress to the actual game. Charged based on length. Make 10-hour video game around 50. Then make 20, 60, and anything 30 hours or above, 70. You know, I agree with this. But make sure that make sure length, it's not all about length, but quality. Look at how shit the Tales of Symphonia remake turned out to be, and that's a lengthy game. And it did absolutely horrible. Too expensive. I thought $60 was already too much. For massive titles every once in a while like Zelda or Elden Ring, sure. But make me pay $70 for a Mario sports game and remasters, and I'm going to have to say absolutely not. Except when it's Metroid. I'm kidding, but no, you're absolutely right, Cisco. In all honesty, I refuse to buy games at full price because of the insane markup. The cost of production on a game, then the amount it makes, minus the markup, would already make it back and then some. I only buy games if they're on sale. Especially back before digital games were more of a thing. Original GTA 5 release made 100 million just on game disc alone. So that already XXX is the amount it costs to make, plus the $40 markup from production on the disc itself, plus all the additional DLC. That game's been out for literal years and still getting DLC. Nintendo should learn from that at least. The increase in video game pricing just sucks all around. $60 was reaching, but now I have no reason to spend that much for a single game that may or may not be worth it. AAA games just aren't hitting as much as they used to, and I'd much rather go with indie games. Well said, brother. Well said. Rise, Nindies, rise! As a Canadian who already pay $80 for new releases, that means I'll be paying $90 with tax. That's almost $100. And Nintendo Switch itself is $400. So I think it's kind of ridiculous that the amount of money I spent on 4 games equals up to the amount I paid for the system, as Zach the Blue was saying earlier as well. Gee, here. I've said it before. If the game is good enough, I don't care the price. I would pay $100 for Red Dead 2, Gears of War, Hogwarts Legacy, and multiple others. Then there are other games that, while are entertaining, certainly not worth $70 price point. Deathloop, Returnal, etc. Oh, the amount of Returnal and Deathloop trade-ins at GameStop. Oh man. How do you guys feel about $70 video games? We had 38 votes, and the majority of them said no. Fun fact about YouTube community polls. If they're polls, especially with pictures, the polls get sent out more in people's For You pages more than it goes sent out to the people that are subscribed to your channel. And that's why polls are so popular on YouTube. Anyways, let's see what people are saying. For Tears of the Kingdom, yes. For release of Pokemon Gen 10, no. Just a reminder that Pokemon Sword and Shield were a total of $90 each after DLC. Meanwhile, Breath of the Wild was $80 after DLC. And one felt more fleshed out than the other. Oh, if Pokemon has a nerve, if they pull some shit like that. The game should be $60 max. For Nintendo, no. Because we're going to get to a point where Nintendo games are $100 and it's not justified, because it's not like with other companies where their hardware gets an upgrade, and even then I'm like, no. Some games, yeah, I understand, but others, oh god, soon Pokemon 70 for some bare bones game. And that's how my community is feeling about the $70 game price up. It needs to change. Something needs to change. We need to raise our voices. We need to start a movement. We need to do something about this. If they're going to raise the prices, make the games good. And I hope to God, and I pray, if Breath of the Wild 2 is successful, please don't disregard the message of this video. Because don't let the success of one game make you fall back into comfort, make you shut down your voice and stop. Because the next game, and the next game after that, and the next game after that, are what matters. Let them show consistency. Let them live up to this new promise and statement that they're holding up to. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and stay brightlets, fam. Man, now that I finally am an adult, now that I'm finally an adult and have adult money, conventions and video games are too expensive. How fucked up is that? Please take me back to the Game Boy, GameCube, and 3DS and Wii U era, so I could truly appreciate it, because now my big boy money don't mean shit.